Today is round 3 of the Virtual Open Wheel Series, Season 4, and today we are at the famous Hockenheim circuit in Germany. Some argue that it is in the shadow of the more famous Nürburgring, of course, with the Nordschleife, and which is basically classed as the home of German motorsport. But, needless to say, the Hockenheim circuit, a 4.574 kilometre circuit, which has a lap record by Kimi Räikkönen in 2004 of a 1:13.780. Some argue that it is actually probably the most iconic circuit in Germany because of its Formula One history and of course the old layout with the forest section. It was the layout has been changed in the past. I do apologise, just reading a message on Xbox. The layout was changed to improve spectator visibility, but the circuit itself is famous for hosting the Formula One and DTM. Of course, Sebastian Vettel famously lost it in Sector 3 in the 2018 German Grand Prix, ruined his race and arguably the point where he lost the championship. So, this will be round 3 of VAL's Season 4. The Season 3 champions 86 E-Racing have been looking really good this season. They lead the Teams Championship. The gravel traps are deadly here, with many people having their races ruined by being beached in Season 3, sorry. So we've got 15 minutes to go until qualifying kicks off here. We're going to be doing a bit of build-up. Unfortunately, I am solo commentating today. You can blame Ron for that one. But we're here currently spectating German Beamud in his second race in VALs, losing it there. I assume he's probably slowing down to go back to the pits, so we'll find someone else who's on track. Alex Hallows now. I do want to talk about Ozone Invictus Motorsport. I suppose you could call this like Ted's Notebook, but for VALs. So Alex Hallows has had an interesting week this week. Ozone Invictus Motorsport have, of course, become Invictus Motorsport. They were going to be ending their... I'm going to take off the facts thing, sorry. It's only round 3. Still new to this. So Invictus were having some troubles with their partnership with Ozone, so now they've had to end the partnership with Ozone, and they are coming back next season with someone else. But of course they're going to complete this season with their current livery and everything, their current driver lineup. I'm just going to check on the stream that you can hear me alright. Livery and everything. Yep, so this is alright. Okay, so so they'll be looking to kind of just get ready for next season, I imagine. Possibly look forward to the top 3, as most of us midfield teams do. Now, here's Max Krauset. Now, he has had a tricky season with Krauset Grand Prix. Of course, he's signed to Reading Game, but obviously Tobias Kress was banned from the league for a season because of dangerous driving in round 1. So Max has had to take the seat for until this round, where this will be his last round in the car, because next season, from Monaco onwards, he signed Joris, who has left NRWO, who after that rather dramatic statement at the end in the interview section of last weekend, NRWO announced that they would be leaving at the end of the season, but due to some driver errors and what presumably is a behind the scenes issue, they have decided to immediately pull out of the league. This was announced about 3 o'clock in the afternoon today. Basically them saying they're out now immediately, so they won't be fielding any drivers for this round, which leaves there an interesting development in the driver market actually, because we've now got a lot of free agents now who haven't got a team and who are looking to never miss there. Very proud to be back in the Invictus car tonight. Payback for race 1 and only for the one and only Alex Hallows. We'll actually have a look who that is, because it's Joe Gillett. If you Please correct me if I'm wrong. Ozone never miss. It's very hard to tell from what your actual name is from your chat name. But yeah, so back to NRWO. I was going to find their car on the grid, but obviously they're not on the grid tonight. So it leaves some very interesting developments in the driver market with quite a few free agents now from all of the reserve drivers that NRWO have, and things like that. So there's been talk of creating a new team, a couple of new teams joining the grid, because Santon have also pulled out due to not being able, basically focusing on GPVWC, which is a very valid thing to do. GPVWC is a very good focus. Of course, prize money coming in GPVWC. And Vows has always been a kind of junior series for the GPVWC. People going up into R Factor 2 have always really come to Vows and sort of got their start there. I think 8-6 for a start, who are now being rather successful, and even Santon are now quite successful in Super League Lights, I do believe. So yeah, so a lot of drivers use Vows as like their kind of springboard into R Factor 2, which is a very good thing to do. It's very nice that there's a clear ladder into GPVWC. Of course, the quality of the grid here is a lot better than other leagues. Riding on board with Peter Jones now. We should probably talk about Peter Jones and his Aspentino Force Polona. I do believe he's with them. He's either with them or he's with... Yep, it's either Goma are in the green car. So we'll talk about Aspentino Force Polona. Obviously they are a new team, I think, in this season. I might be wrong. They're either a new team this season or towards the end of last season, but I don't remember them on the grid last season. But he's been doing very good. Of course, starting the season in the Velocity car, but he's moved here for whatever reason. I'm not too sure. And he's been showing his pace and being very, very good. I know he did drive for someone towards the end of last season. I'm not sure who it was. But Peter Jones has been really showing his pace in these cars. Yeah, so now to Creox Baguette, the owner of DOSstream, which is one of the main sponsors. We'll try and find him now. In the Goma car. Now, Goma were, of course, new in round one. They are a brand new team. With a very Santon-like livery. It's very easy to mix up the two. Well, with the French helmet, the Frenchman, owner of... Hang on. Sorry about that. I've just talked for literally 4 minutes and then realised that my mic was on mute because OBS is being stupid. But we've turned down the sound and stuff. So back to Goma. So the Frenchmen, very good. They are showing their pace mainly as a sort of getting their points in round 2 from what I've seen. But they are a very strong midfield team. And of course, for the first sort of for your first season, you don't want to be going in too hot. So it's been a very decent start to the season for them. In my view, anyway. So yeah, so they'll be looking to sort of just get a good first season impression and then probably push on next season. Which brings me to who haven't we spoken about? Velocity. Now, Velocity, they looked so promising in pre-season, but in my view, they haven't really been doing it. Ryan will be racing. We'll get on to my teams in a minute. Don't want to be biased at all. I've been told that I am slightly biased on these streams, and I want to be as least biased as I can and as neutral as possible. But obviously, if we do end up winning the team's championship at some point in the next few seasons, I don't think I'll be able to contain that one. So, to Velocity then. So, Velocity they had a really good start to the season with Peter Jones in the car, but since he's kind of left them, they haven't been doing so great. Still a solid midfield team for the thing. I'll actually pull up the team's championship standings now. I don't think I'll be able to show you because I don't have it downloaded to my computer, so I can put it on OBS. But we've got the announcements here. So the team's championship runs 8-6, Copic, Velocity, Mazumda, Iris, Force Polona, Reading Game, Goma, Ozone, Krauset Grand Prix, and NRWO, of course. We all know what happened to them. So, Velocity have had a good start to the season, but you have to take... So it's 22 points in round 1 and 15 points in round 2. So third, obviously. But I think now they haven't got Peter Jones, they've been showing a little bit less pace last round. But definitely been doing very good for their first season. We'll have a look again to who we haven't mentioned. So, let's have a talk about Iris, because Iris are really sleeping giants in my eyes. We'll see if we can find Dimitri in the... Apparently not. Apparently the Iris cars aren't here. So, of course, Iris had a very bad couple of rounds last time out. Not for Dimitri so much, but for Dio. He received a one race ban, actually. Because of his dangerous driving. And I think he made an infringement in cutting or something the track last round, which means he's been given... He had to start from the pit lane, and he wasn't really able to recover. He drove a bit dangerously, kind of lost his head a little bit. Possibly quite annoyed at the stewards, I'd imagine. But we didn't see his track extending, so we can't really make a comment on that. But yeah, Iris, Fallen Giants. Of course, they had Dimitri, who won the championship in Season 2. But that was a very different time. Now we're in another season. And now I'm going to be a little bit biased for a minute. We've talked about mostly everyone else from what I've seen. So, Reading Game have had a quite poor start to the season. Of course, the junior team, Mazumda, actually higher in the championship standings than them. But I'm sure with both Mazumda cars that started the season have joined Reading Game. Victor will be leaving back and going back to Mazumda next race, and Max will be back in the car. But it's been quite a woeful start to the season for us. A podium from Mazumda. So for the junior team start of things, so for the whole like sort of family and system, it's been very good. But we've ended up introducing people into the league that are too good for like a junior team and are ending up challenging for points, not where you'd expect them to be. But yes, some driver, not so much issues, just like organisation issues with the whole who drives in which car. But so far it's been it's early doors. We're only, I think it's a quarter into the season, aren't we? Which sounds a lot, but in an 8-round season, it's not that much. So hopefully after P5 and P5 for Massey last time out, and I think Victor had some issues with the car, it should be quite a decent race this season. Well, today, sorry. And we can... So if you move further back and look at the other cars, 1 second. I'm sorry for them using my mic. There is background noise, and we don't want my conversations held. But I've been given some chocolates, so that'll be fun in the warm-up. Where was I? So, to Mazumda. So, Ryan. I want to talk about Ryan a bit. We won't stay on Reading Game for too long, because, again, I don't want to be biased. But he had some issues with the car. His quali pace has not been good, and he's been saying that quite a bit. He goes off there. So he's saying that he's going to definitely work on his qualifying pace. And yeah, give it another go in the Mazunda car. Or I think we were talking about bringing, here's Dimitri in the Iris. We were talking about bringing Silent Point, which is our other junior team, into the league. So that should be happening in the next couple of races. Max Krause is happy for that to happen. But yeah, let's have another look at the Teams Championship and see who else we haven't spoken about. So, Copic Motorsports, they have been surprisingly good. We'll have a look to see where their car is. Here we go. Amma Hammond. Now, this guy has been very, very, very good this season so far. I mean, it's given them second in the Teams Championship, which for not a new team, because they were in season 1, I believe, but for a relatively new team, that is actually really quite spectacular. So yes, they've got their driver lineup spot on, and with that, we're voting for next session, so we will be going into qualifying right now. So I'm going to take a couple of minutes break, and then we'll go straight into qualifying. Charlie, Emily, I'm streaming! Okay, we are back. I am really sorry about that incident then. OBS had a little bit of a meltdown. I pressed mute and, well, it didn't mute me. So, yeah, that was, that's an incident. So I do apologise about anything that happened then. Needless to say, we'll be taking this stream down afterwards. But it has to go on because I am the only commentator available. So, I am sorry. So, we join qualifying then. And we're going to go and find Jakub Karbowski, who is first in the championship, who is currently on provisional pole. Oh, for goodness sake. Oh, everything's going wrong today. Note to everyone else, make sure you keep your mute button the same across multiple streams, in case you accidentally press the wrong mute button. That was rather embarrassing, and I am sorry once again. Anyway, we move on. There are 9 minutes left in qualifying. And as we said, Jakub is on provisional pole. In second place is Will Metcalf by the looks of... No, it's not. That is not the button I just pressed. This game is being rather stupid. So, I mean, that's the button I'm So it goes Jakub, Justin Meister, Massimiliano Ribioli. Oh, Max Weichel actually. Peter Jones, Aegis Batars, Emma Hammond, Joris Bilkins, Victor Marciniak, Joe Gillett, Max Krauset. I don't know the rest. But yeah, so let's do an onboard lap with Dimitri. I think we did this last time, but it's okay. Right, so he's going to go up here. And if I'm correct, at the end of this straight, you want to be braking quite early. He's going to be braking right at the 100 metre boards, down to second. He's going to get on the power just after he hits the apex, a bit late, but it's better safe than sorry. So in fourth gear, this is flat. He hits the curb, hugs it tight to the inside, just before the 50 board, into third. Hits the curb on the outside, and on the inside there. To the outside of the track, setting him up for this second right-hander. Braking just after the little checkered pattern there, into fourth as he goes round there. Fifth in third, he goes around, gets on the power nice and early as he goes up and around. Fourth around the penultimate corner. This is fairly flat until the exit, and he comes across the line. He doesn't take pole, and that was an outlap. That was a slight issue. So we'll have a look where he goes into turn 2 then. Third. It's a very weird corner this, but he's going to make sure he clips the curb on the inside, clips the curb on the outside. Into fifth. Really opening up the car as he goes down here. A 100 board. Down to second. And this is where we got him on the last lap. Remember, this right-hander here is flat. Takes it flat, clips the curb, hugs the inside just before the 50 board, into third this time. Careful not to take the grass there, but he clips the curb on the inside here. Make sure he also clips on the outside. Be careful not to clip it too much so he loses time. Just after the checkered pattern, he dabs on the brakes down to 4th, and then here again at the 50-metre boards into 3rd. Long, winding left-hander. Opens out the car. Stays in 4th and just sort of feathers the throttle out of there. And then lifts off a tiny bit through the final corner there. And he's across the line, unable to take 1st, but he does take 6th, which is quite an impressive qualifying performance from here there. But I doubt it's over yet. Riding on board now with, I'll have to check, Aegis Batars. We'll go on with him. We'll go in cockpit cam now, so we can see his revs. 3rd gear, 2nd gear this time. Stamps on the throttle as he goes round. Lifts not as tight as Dimitri through there. Takes a lot of curb on the exit. And that gives him, as we look along here, that will give him, it's not actually on any of the scoreboards that we've got. So he is currently in 8th. That will be very good for velocity. 4 minutes to go, and we'll ride on board with Ryan, who is once again the wrong way round. Flips it round there nicely. And always takes out his teammate, actually, which, the 34 car there. Not sure why he's in the 34 car, actually. It's his number's 16. But we'll get that changed for next week, I imagine. We're going to try this, and we can see both Masmuda cars doing them. I don't know what's happened there. So he's looking quite tidy, Ryan. I say that as he runs it very wide there. I imagine his tyres will probably be a bit dirty as he goes around there. And finally, through. The final few corners. Last little technical section of the track, really. And yep, unable to improve on his time. He is 16th, Ryan. By the looks of things, it looks like he and German will both be leaving in qualifying, as it did not qualify. And there's not much time for flying laps left. There's only 2 minutes left, which is, if you push it, that's time for 2 flying laps, but they'd have to be back to back, and then we'd go into warm up. The velocity car of Aegis Batars going on to another flying lap. But we'll look forward. And an NRWO does seem to be racing, despite the fact that they aren't racing today, which is quite surprising. Perhaps a rebellious trip for him. Although I do imagine that he would be the kind of person to remember to mute his mic properly and check it's muted before he says anything out loud. Now, a correction from last week, this guy isn't one. He is different. But he is one of the interesting things on the driver market that we will be seeing heading into round 4. So we'll see how long we've got left. 55 seconds, so anyone who is in the pits right now won't be starting another flying lap, which is Victor Marciniak. So quite a few people actually won't be starting another flying lap. Although everyone out now, it's a mad sprint to the line if they haven't already started a flying lap. Jacob, Peter Jones, Justin Meister, Max Reichel, Massimiliano Ribioli, Dimitri, Jason, Ho, Aegis Battars, Emma Hammond, Victor Marciniak, Will Metcalf, Joe Gillett, Max Krauset, Gabriel Lafrene, Joris Bilkins, Alex Hallows, Creox Baguette, Ryan Masmuda, and German Beeman. Now, German will be on his last flying lap by the looks of it. He doesn't seem to be in the pits, but we'll see if he can improve on that at all. Comes across the line to finish, and there is no improvement. He has unfortunately crashed out of qualifying, unable to improve on his time of a 1 of 7 seconds slower. And as does Ryan Masmuda, who is in the pits, so he won't be able to complete another flying lap. He looks also. We'll have a look at the 107. Unfortunately, oh, now that is really close. Ryan is 3,000th off of, inside the 107, which is a very, very tight result for him. His Lance Stroll-esque qualifying pace. But saying that, Jacob Kabarowsk has all but taken pole now, and will be on pole for race 1 here in the virtual open wheel series, round 4 of Hockenheim. So, whilst everyone else crosses the line, we will be taking a break for the warm-up, and we'll remember to mute our mics this time and watch our mouths as we do so. They're presumably on an in-lap, I'd assume. He seems to have crossed the line despite have already finished his lap. But never mind. We will be going to break as everyone has finished their laps. surprisingly, the pit lane is really quiet because most of the cars are actually on track in this warm-up session. But we are considering starting a little bit early, just so we don't run down the whole clock. So we'll keep you updated on that. And when we get the call that all non-essential personnel please leave the grid now, we will start the broadcast again for round 3 of the Virtual Open Wheel Series Season 4. Once again, I really want to apologise for the rather embarrassing moment in the start of just before qualifying. I have changed my mute button, which means I pressed the wrong mute button that I'm so used to pressing, and then yes, so we won't dwell on the little things, and we will move on. So here is Max sorting out the grid slots. And we will get in on the action very soon. I'm just going to message my friend and tell him he so desperately wanted to watch. And of all the races for him to want to watch, it's the one with the incident in it. But yeah, we will be getting going as soon as we can here. And we'll be getting all non-essential personnel to please leave the grid now. And I'm going to mute for the first thing I'll be muting today, my sound, so that we don't hear that horrendous all non-essential personnel please leave the grid now ringing in my ears for the rest of the weekend. But just a reminder to any drivers watching this, if you do want a post-race interview after the race, you can join. And that is how you mute your mic. Where was I? So, yeah, non-essential personnel dude won't be ringing in my ears this time for the rest of the weekend. We're switching in 1 minute, so we'll leave this off for now. And I realise how loud my voice has been getting. It's rather. I mean, well, to say this stream has been a huge success. I mean, I did enjoy doing the analysis of the series, of the new series. I'm just gonna shut up, and I will be back with you when race 1 starts. So as it happens, all non-essential personnel have left the grid now, and we will be going to the formation lap very, very soon. So we'll get ready, position the camera there, and it's the formation lap now. Right, so Peter Jones is in 3rd, I think, today. No, he's not. He must be in 5th or something. the slow whir of the engines as we go around. We'll try and find our pole man today. Jakub Kowalski, and he has been improving so much after double second sprint race victories in the last 2 rounds. Now he'll be making to finally get a feature race victory. But of course, the one that everyone wants is probably Monaco next time out. But a win is a win, and anyone who can challenge the 8-6 guys at the front is a good person. Peter Jones is second, actually, and then it goes Justin Meister, Amar Hammond, Massey, Max Weichel, Dimitri. That's probably a quite disappointing qualifying performance from the 8-6 guys in their home Grand Prix as well. So they'll be quite disappointed with that, I'd imagine. But probably not too much. It's a long race, and as we all know, no race is ever won into the first corner. So maybe they'll be looking at an undercut on the cars ahead, or do they go long and run a bit heavier, but hope that their tyres stay in a good nick to do an overcut. But we found personally that the best way to do it in this series is just run light and then go from there. But we'll ride on board with Jakub as we wait for the lights as the grid reforms behind us. Anticipating. We go to the lights. And it's lights out and away we go. It seems to be quite a clean start from everyone at the back. I do apologise, the camera angle's not very good, but yes, it is a clean start. There's some people going off there. Oh, and that's Victor! And that's Victor going into the wall and losing his front wing. That'll be an early pit stop for him. Losing a lot of time now. But Jakub maintains his lead into turn 1. Justin Meister has managed to gain a position on Peter Jones, but Peter Jones comes back at him down the inside now. But then Max Weichel tries to kind of cover him off to help his teammate out, and Peter Jones slips through and makes the move done. Riboli and Amar Hammond are also in a tussle, and further back the NRWO of Jason Ho and Dimitri are in their own tussle. And it's pretty much the same all the way back with a Goma car running wide there. And Victor has retired from the race. Ryan is in last as well. So that has been quite disappointing. Was that someone? It can't have been. No. I thought someone had gone upside down for a second then, but apparently not. And we're back. And Peter Jones is managing to hold off Max Weichel, who was overtaking his teammates. By the looks of things. In fact, no, that can't be the case. His teammate is out in second, trying to cut down the lead to Jakub. This has been a very intense lap 1, but most people apart from Victor have come out unscathed. So we're going to see, can Max Weichel try and claw this back and overtake Peter Jones? But Peter Jones is quite good on the defence. Max going to avoid those curbs there, those really, really quite deadly curbs. And of course Jakub is in front. Massey covering off the attacks of Jason Ho. And Dimitri looking to get in on the action himself. But looking at the ozone in Victor's car and Goma, the Goma car of Creox Baguette has overtaken Joe Gillett there. It's a very decent there. And Ryan Masmuda has also retired. It's gone from bad to worse for him. From only qualifying. I do apologise once again. So, we run. Jakub. I need to wait for the things to scroll through. Massey has been overtaken by Jason Ho in our little unscheduled interval there. So it's Jakub, Justin, Max Weichel, Peter Jones, Amar Hammond, Jason Ho, Massimiliano Ribbioli, Dimitri, Aegis Batars, Will Metcalf, Joe Gillett, Creox Baguette, Gabriel Lafreniere, Max Krauset, Joris Bilkins, Alex Hallows, and then Ryan Masmuda and Victor Martignac have both retired from this Grand Prix. The two Krauset Grand Prix cars of Max Krauset and Joris Bilkins are running in tandem in P14 and P15. And then Creox Baguette goes for a move on his teammate and makes it stick. But then runs wide and lets his teammate, then there's contact. But it's not a lot. And the two can run on safely and normally. Looking forward, Dimitri looks for a move on the NRWO of Jason Ho. Probably in NRWO's last Grand Prix, actually, in the Virtual Open Wheel Series. And Jason Ho has gone round and round that corner. And Dimitri might go for the move. He's sizing him up. Maybe he'll get in the slipstream on the straight and go for the move there. We'll see now riding on board with Dimitri. Will he make a move into the very treacherous turn 1? Brakes at the 50 board, or lifts off, sorry. Tries not to clip those really deadly, like, disc sort of curves. 5th gear down to 3rd. He looks to see if he can just claw back this small gap that is so difficult to overcome. By the looks of things, it's pretty quiet now for Dimitri. And then Emma Hammond goes for the move on Peter Jones. Almost clips Justin Meister, and that is very clean racing, actually. With a lovely little dive bomb from Emma Hammond. That is what you love to see. But maybe Peter Jones is going to go for another move to him down to the inside, but he covers him off. Possibly a little bit of illegal blocking there, but we'll see with the stewards. Peter Jones has gone around the outside and he's been completely cut off there. Surely that's going to be a penalty later on when the stewards come to make their final decisions. Emma manages to cover him off in a very Max Verstappen kind of way. But it's dreamland for Jacob Kowalski. Looks good for his first win, but then 2-3 is the 2-8-6 guys. Now 8-6 are very, very good, and if Copic want any chance of the championship, they're going to need to start getting 1-2s and taking points off of Max Weichel and Justin Meister, because we could see 8-6 winning it by round 6 again, which wouldn't be the most ideal. But Emma Hammond keeps Peter Jones at bay. And then Dimitri, unable to make a move on Jason Ho. But now, maybe he's close enough to go for the dive bomb, which he does into the hairpin, possibly. And he looks to have made it stick. Covering... And the spinning Peter Jones has just collected Dimitri after he spun on the apex of the hairpin there. Now, surely he's going to let Dimitri back through. Now, I wonder what happened there. Was there contact between him and Emma Hammond? But now Peter Jones goes for the move on Jason Ho. And is he going to make it? I don't think he is. I think Jason Ho's got him at bay. But that could be all different into this not flat, but looks flat right-hander there. And he does make the move stick, but maybe the stewards will have to have a look at the incident that caused that later on. But Peter Jones is in 6th, Jason Ho is in 7th, and Dimitri is in 8th. That's rather disappointing for Dimitri. But Massimiliano Rivioli now is looking in his visor, or on his screen, is the 8-6 of Max Weichel, making a move quite possibly for, I think it's P4 from what I've just seen on the timing that is scrolling across your screen as we go. We run Jacob Kowalski, Justin Meister, Emma Hammond, Max Weichel. So it is for P4. The number 3 car of Massimiliano Rivioli. Possibly looking to chip away at that gap between Max Weichel, or hoping that 2 and 3 are going to get, or 2nd and 3rd are going to have a little tussle here. But we'll look further back to see Aegis Batar's trying to size up a move on Jason Ho. He goes to the outside, tries the switchback, but there isn't enough room for the switchback there. So it might have to stay at bay for a lap, which is why we'll move backwards and see if there's anything further back that can whet the appetite for overtaking action here in the Virtual Open Wheel Series German Grand Prix. This lovely camera shot here, going through there. And then of course the classic T-cam. But this has got to be my favourite camera angle in the game. Really gives you a sense of speed and determination in these virtual helmets. But Joe Gillett looks to have Gabriel at bay fairly soon. But there seems to be Dimitri going for the move on Joris Bilkins. Has he got it? He has got the inside line, so I reckon he's probably got it into turn one. And and Dimitri spun, there's contact. Can this man's season go any worse from a former world champion to just constant streams of bad luck and low points finishes? And he goes on 2 wheels there. Oh, the Iris Woes. The Iris Woes continue. Fielding just one driver at this event, and Max Krauset's out after his stop in 15th, holding Creox Baguette at bay, who just get a little bit of airtime there, but not much. Emma Hammond has been overtaken by Max Weichel and is now under a slight bit of pressure from Massey. But not too much. This is quite a good tussle. And Max Weichel's gone off! Oh, that's going to be slight disappointment. And is he going to lose another position? I don't think he is. He doesn't quite lose out to Peter Jones, but now he is in P5. Massey, P4. And then Justin goes for the move on Massey and doesn't quite make it. Oh, has Massey gone for the move on Justin? I don't know. We were looking too far back, but the 286 guys now both in a tussle with the Reading Game car of Massimiliano Ribioli. I do apologise if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, Massey. But Justin seems to have this fairly sorted. He goes for the... Massey goes around the outside and can't quite make it. Justin makes it stick. And then Max Weichel will also be looking to make a move, but perhaps Massey will fancy his chances down the inside here. Or around the outside, sorry, I should say. Doesn't quite make it, but he goes to the switchback and again can't make it. Max Weichel drops back a little bit. And both Massey and Justin Meister go wide there. Only slightly though. And it is very touch and go for the podium position here. Of course, all of the front runners really not wanting at all to ruin their race and not get a points finish. That would be disaster from that position. And Justin Meister goes for the move on Emma Hammond, but thinks better of it. And then Max Weichel possibly has Massey into turn one. There could be contact here. There could be a little bit of dodgy driving in the back marker there of Creox Baguette, I think that is. Decides to not get in the way of this battle. And Massey comes off worse in P5 and both 8.6 cars are through. Now that is the golfing class between 8.6 and Justin Meister goes to the move on Emma Hammond and I think he's got it. Unless Emma Hammond goes to cover the inside, which I don't think he will now. He'll give Justin Meister the respect and just kind of lets him through. Doesn't really bother him there. Because if 8.6 are there... That being said, he's had a look around the outside. If he didn't touch the curb there, he would have got a very much better exit. But then that allows Max Weichel back through and there's contact, but not much. Not enough to make them go round. And this is very, very treacherous stuff. As there's like a 4-car battle. And this is the reason we watch sim racing. Because you can have tussles like this. And now Massey goes around the outside. He's got the move stuck. That was an amazing late braking move. He broke as late as you physically can there. That was rather impressive. Justin Meister comes in for a stop, as does Massimiliano Ribioli. Jacob stays out though. And does he? No, Jacob has already made his pit stop. And now he will go through, presumably to happily take... No, he can't do, because he's in Sector 2, and I wonder what's happened there then. While we were watching the other battle, by the looks of things, after having watched the other battle, Jacob has had a little spin or something that's forced him down to P3. Now, perhaps Amma Hammond and Max Weichel are yet to stop, which is difficult to tell in the information we've got on this display, because we don't know. rFactor has no pit stop counter. So we're going to have a look at what happens now when Jacob comes round now, and we're going to see when Max Weichel decides to stop. Perhaps it's this lap, you'd assume, because Jacob looks to have already stopped, or it's been a bit of a disaster letting Amma Hammond and Max Weichel through. But I wouldn't understand how we've missed that, watching basically the top 5 for the entire race. There we go. Max Weichel and Amma Hammond both do come through there for their stops. So it might be a bit treacherous again to see if Amma Hammond or Max Weichel can actually come out in front. And I'm going to put the map up for you, and you can see that Jacob has got it quite simply, quite plain and simple. And Amma Hammond there, stationary, his team, Jacob's teammate, hoping for a double podium. And is that Dimitri on the undercut? Again, you can't tell because you don't know who's pit and who hasn't. But Will Metcalf looking to fight Joris Bilkins on his Croisset Grand Prix debut. And Joris! Oh, he's become a bike there. And you do not want to be doing that in the middle of a race. So that should be the last of that battle. But another little tussle. Alex Hallows looks to make the move on Max Croisset. He does think the better of it, because he knows Max has much better speed down there. And again, thinks better of it there, into there, Alex Hallows. And we'll have a look at what lap we're on. There are 6 laps left in this Grand Prix. This being lap 11. So, yep, 6 laps left. And Alex Hallows has the inside, and he's made the pass again. Or has he? Max covers him off, possibly, but goes wide, and then Alex Hallows says, "Thank you very much, I'll go through here." And he does that. Max Weichel now on Peter Jones. Looks like he's going to try for the switch back. Doesn't quite make it stick, but it's rather close. And now he seems to have it done, possibly into this hairpin. And there's slight contact, but nothing too bad. And Max has made the move stick. Has he? Yes, he has now. That is confirmed. And I think Peter's gone for the move again. No, I don't think Peter Jones has actually stopped yet. We can see Joris Bilkins has come in for a stop. But we don't know who else is coming for a stop. And Peter Jones forces Max Weichel wide. That is a very good move, because he manages to keep Max onto the track. Keep him on the track. But Max isn't done yet. He's going to go around the outside here. In a repeat, trying to repeat Massey's move earlier, and isn't able to do it. But now he's got the inside line into there. And he goes wide, and just around that disc cone there, which would have probably spelt flipping in his race. And Creox Baguette being very respectful there. I mean, a bit iffy, but he's been very respectful to the front runners there. Not doing anything stupid. 8 people watching. That is not a peak of this stream, but that is matching the best we've had in this round for the stream. So thank you to everyone who has tuned in today. And it's not over yet. We've still got plenty more action coming your way. Watching Max Weichel now in 6th place. Of course, 8-6 wanted to do something in the home Grand Prix. Jacob has looked comfortable from the very start in the lead here. And I imagine he'll stay comfortable throughout the rest of this race it takes a lot for Jacob to give in to the pressure. And even though this, although actually, I don't know, this could sort of this is going to possibly chip away at that championship lead from 8-6. We'll see what happens into the second race, but I will read out the championship standings while we wait, and not Open Python. But we will look at the championship standings. Right now, I will pull them up on Discord. So, Copic, they're 40 points away from 8-6, but that's easy to make up in this championship, really. I mean, all it needs is a 1-2 finish, and then the 8-6 boys do not have a very good weekend, and that is possible. We have seen that before, because perhaps they do Le Mans next month, which is coming up. Not in Vals, obviously, in RFAX 2. And then perhaps they're tired from their stints in Le Mans and need to concentrate on that, so have a slightly less have less time to practice for this, and lose out because of that. Either way, it's quite a possible total to claw back. But we'll look back and see if there's anyone having a battle. The race has gone into into the settled mode, but there is a slight battle here between Peter Jones and Aegis Batars, and they'll be hoping to not do too much damage to each other. But Peter Jones seems to have fended off that attack quite well for P4 there. Now, I'm not sure if these have pitted yet, because Massey, unless he's made a mistake, he should be net P5 again, but he isn't. So someone's got to pit soon, and they've either left it really late or they just haven't done much. And now the 8-6 car and the reading game car of Massey and Max have both sort of caught up to the other two here, and Emma Hammond looks to get in on the action, but doesn't look like he will. And is that Jason Ho who has spun? And even though he needs retired, and even when they aren't officially in the event, NRWO add to their woes. And that, you're looking at that quite possibly, unless he does do the next race, which I highly doubt it. That is the last sight you'll see of an NRWO car in the Virtual Open Wheel Series. Now, interesting actually. Max Krausetz, we'll get a closer camera angle, but his rear wing looks to be slightly damaged. I wonder what's happened there, and we can see it. We'll probably be able to observe on the straight now that, yeah, his rear wing looks fairly bust up, but he still managed to hold P13, which is quite impressive from him. Joe Gillett going round the disc there. Emma Hammond pressuring Massey. We'll have a look, and we'll look at the race leader. Jacob, he's looked very comfortable throughout most of this race. And we are into the final 2 laps, I think now. No, this is the penultimate lap. So we'll just watch him on the final lap. We'll have another check. Yep, this has been 15 lap. Well, we'll be on lap 16. Oh, and there's is that Creox Baguette? That is Creox Baguette. He's come in for a very late pit stop there. Is he possibly going to retire? We'll see, but for now, we're going to watch Jacob go through sector 2 and 3. I think we're in sector 3 now, definitely. You'd have to say. Did I just see a piece of carbon fibre on the floor? I don't think I did. But Jacob will be starting his final lap momentarily. Going around the final bend now. And we will follow him all the way through the final lap, because there doesn't seem to be many battles happening. We'll have a look on the mini-map. And actually the battle for P6 looks quite tasty. Massey looking to get in on the action between Aegis Batars and Emma Hammond. And I'm just going to watch the mini-map now to see for when Jacob is coming around that final corner so we can go back to him. But this battle seems to be a whole lot of nothing, really. Tunahan Irby Yaziki. I want to join this league. Welcome to the league. I'm sure someone after the race will post the Discord. But if you go onto Twitter and you search up Virtual Open Wheel Series, you should be able to find the Discord somewhere, or just ask someone for the Discord link. They are quite helpful. And we had some stream lag for a second there. Wonder what happened. But, oh, I've missed the checkered flag while reading that. But, have I? I don't think I have. We go back to Jacob. Going around the final corner now. It's been a very, very good race for him. And he's finally taken a feature race victory. It's not the first time I've said that Jacob has won a race. But he's done it here when it counts in the feature race. And we'll look who comes second. So Jacob, Justin Meister, Dimitri Max Weichel, Peter Jones, Aegis Batars, Massimiliano Ribioli in P7, Emma Hammond, Will Metcalf, looking like he's going to coming around the final bend now. He makes it P8 for him. Lots of chaos on their in laps. People just letting it all go. Oh, that's a big smash on the in lap. But that has been race 1. Now, of course, do not go anywhere because there is race 2 coming up next. And we can see that Creox Baguette will be on pole for race 2. Justin Meister becoming a torpedo there. Daniel. I've just lost my sentence. But there we go. So we will be back for race 2 in 6 minutes or 10 minutes time. We're all getting ready for race 2 then, and everyone's slightly tired after such a hectic race 1.
We're all getting ready for
I
race
forgot
2
that
then,
I had my phone on. That's not the only embarrassing thing that's happened this commentary. As you can see, there's 4 minutes to go, and it's an 8-lap race. Obviously, this being a sprint race, reverse grid order. Creox should be going on pole. I imagine. We'll have a look. But yes, so it's been it was a very hectic race 1, and if we had 11 minutes, I would show you what happened last race, but we don't for the highlights, unfortunately. But we'll just say it was chaos in turn 1 for race 2. Everyone's ready. Okay, so I need to turn off this for... I need to turn off my audio. We're switching to the feature race now. Now I want to switch off my audio so that we don't end up with all non-essential personnel. Please leave the grid now, guy. I realised how synced that actually was. I need to listen to that again. That was actually really quite satisfying. Personnel, please leave the grid now, guy. I realised how synced that actually was. I need to... Right, so we're reforming the grid. I believe there is a formation lap, but we'll go forward and see and get first place in, which is Creox we get. Yes, so we're going to go into formation lap right now, as you'd expect. So we'll just follow the cars around for the formation lap, just in the default camera view, because nothing happens. Yeah, let's see what happens in this formation lap. Make sure nothing stupid happens to anyone further back. But Jacob Kowalski is already in the pits. Ryan Masmuda at 16th. And of course the 2 people who DNF'd. And of course if you DNF from race 1, you don't get included in the reverse grid order for race 2. Now this is because, say for instance, like Monaco or Singapore or a circuit where you can't really overtake like that, you could just crash out purposely in race 1 and then get an easy win in race 2 by just parking it on the apex every single corner, and we don't want to encourage that. You also have to have qualified for race 1. We also don't want people in the 107 out of the 107% racing in race 2, because that's kind of counterproductive for what the whole 107% rule is. But following around, we are in sector 3 now. The grid will be reforming in a minute. We just have to finish this last little bit of the lap. Everyone making sure their tyres are nice and warm, potentially even laying down rubber on their grid slot to try and make sure they get that extra 10th off of the start line that could be the difference between getting one place or the other. So Creox Baguette goes to reform the grid now, and there's Joe Gillett who spun, but it's fine because as long as he stays out of trouble, he's allowed to just go and drive back to his normal grid slot in P2 there. So right on board with Creox Baguette. So we wait for the lights. Everyone revving their engines. And there's lights. And it's lights out, and away we go. That's a very good start, by the looks of things, from the Krazek Grand Prix car there. And Joe Gillett immediately challenges Creox into turn 1. And then Creox goes wide, allowing Max Krauset and is that Alex and Joe Gillett through, I think. And there could be a tussle here. And there is, there's contact somewhere. A very, very treacherous, if at best, through here. Joris Bilkins goes down the inside of Alex Hallows. Massimiliano Riboli follows him through. And then there's going wide. Joris Bilkins has gone wide there, and there's loads of people. This is why we love the feature race, the sprint race here, sorry. It's so hard, and Ryan Masmuda's had a very good start as well into P14. You don't even know how far back you are watching this race. And there's slight contact between Creox, Baguette and Max Whiteshaw. Creox hasn't had the best start. Max Krauset takes the lead of this Grand Prix. And Creox gets swarmed by all of the... by basically the top 5 from the first race. So the top 3 runs. Justin Meister challenges Massimiliano Ribbioli for P3. And then Massi fails to get Joe Gillett into P2. He now has the inside line to try and fend off... Justin... heading into lap 2 now. And can Massi look forward rather than backwards as he tries and kind of has a look but doesn't really. But Justin has the inside line now, so you have to think possibly he's going to go for the move down there. Massi gives him the room, but he does kind of cut him off and he might have it. And by the looks of things, he keeps it. And Joe Gillett goes off there, touches Justin Meister. But he's also got the inside, possibly for a 2-car dive bomb. Massi's into P2. This is brilliant. Emma Hammond goes for the dive bomb from far back. And Massi goes wide, probably letting him through. He lets him through there. So we're now Max Krauset, Emma Hammond, Massimiliano Ribbioli, and Max Whiteshaw's gone for the move. And he can't quite make it. Massi outbrakes him into there. But Justin Meister's now going through on his teammate. This is brilliant stuff. The sprint race never fails to excite. Justin Meister now trying to... Oh, he's outbroken by his teammate there. And that sees that move off. You don't want to look away. And it's all quiet further back. So we'll focus our eyes forward now. Your top 3 are Max Krauset, Emma Hammond and Massimiliano Ribbioli. Fending off the attacks of the 8-6 cars are the top 3, which is a very hard thing to do. Dimitri possibly going for a move here on Max Whiteshaw, but he's way too far back for that, which allows Will Metcalf possibly into the fray. But again, he is slightly too far back. So, is that... So, now, Massi goes for the lead. He's trying to go for the lead on Max Krauset, which will be his teammate coming next race. And he's got the lead, quite possibly, into this hairpin. And he seems to have got it quite comfortably there. Goes for the racing line. But he's being dive bombed by about 3 cars. But he holds it. And now he's gone and got the lead. And you'll have to think, if you're him, that you are going forward. This could be Reading Game's first victory in any sim race ever. Which would be very, very impressive for Massimiliano Ribbioli. Even if it is the sprint race. Now Emma Hammond goes wide there, which allows Max Whiteshaw through and Justin Meister through as well. And then there's loads of cars all going down the inside of each other, and it is very, very... And is that Joe Gillett who's just gone for the... No, Massi is still in the lead. By quite a way by the looks of things, but then it is 8-6 hunting him down as we are now in lap... is that... Because we've done 3 laps, we're on lap 4 now. So this is halfway through this sprint race here in the Virtual Open Wheel Series German Grand Prix. Now 8-6 are determined to at least get a win in their home race. At least 1 win. That's all. That's what they want. Even though the championship is all but wrapped up for them. Even though we're only in race... Well, I suppose it's race 4, isn't it? Because of how the races work. Even though they've got such a points gap. And all they have to do is not make many mistakes. They still challenge each other. Although Justin does think better of that, thinking, well, this is my teammate, so it's probably better that I don't challenge him into there. Dimitri has gone on a move for Will Metcalf, and Jason Ho sees if he can pick up the scraps of this battle here. Dimitri goes around the outside, and he makes the move stick, fending off Will Metcalf. But now Will Metcalf's... It's so hard to keep up with on this track. A track that many of us have driven loads and loads of times. And Jacob looking to see if he can maybe join, and he tries to go for the move, and who's that off? That is Ryan Masmuda in the wall, I think. And then there's also Max Krauset. Stopped. Ryan in the wall, what's happened to him? We'll take a second out, and that is horrendous suspension damage. That's not suspension damage. He's just completely gone AFK for a second. Just chilling. But Massey maintains his lead. And I am sorry for giving him so much camera footage. So much footage of Massey. But with a 0.7 gap to Max Whiteshaw behind, surely he can take the team. Maybe he can take the team's first victory. As we're now on lap 5 of 8. All he's got to do is hold him off for 3 more laps. Now I'll stop being biased and we'll look further back, see if there's any battles further back. But you have to. The battle for the lead is quite good. And now Massey's teammate Victor. We'll have a look when it comes back. He's in the top 10, definitely, actually. He'll be happy with that, I think. It goes Dimitri, Max Whiteshaw, Justin Meister, Emma Hammond, Dimitri, Justin, Jacob, Aegis, Will, Jason, and then Victor. So that isn't bad whatsoever. Massey currently keeping the 8-6 cars at bay, and you have to think surely it's getting a bit sweaty behind that wheel right now, knowing what this could possibly mean. There's a DNF for Max Krauset. He looks fairly comfortable in the lead of this race, but now he's not. And the 8-6 car's gaining, so we'll ride on board now. And he's gaining in the slipstream. He's gaining and gaining and gaining. Possibly going to be enough to make a move. Isn't quite able to make it, but you'll have to think possibly down the next straight. So we'll just find the right camera angle to ride on board. Flat out, that one. He's going down to 3rd gear. Clips the curb on the inside. Clips the curb on the outside. Hits it on the inside there as well, and on the inside, and goes to the outside of the track. Possibly going to... He won't go for a move down to here. Down to 4th gear. Once again, clips the curb. Uses as much track. He's in the gravel. He's in the gravel. And that's let his teammate through. But that's pretty much... That won't be too bad for 8-6, because they still have a driver pushing for the lead, but that will possibly relieve some of the pressure from Massey now for at least another couple of laps. We go on to lap 7 now. 2 laps to hold him off, and this is basically a show of a test, really. Jason Ho and Will Metcalf. I don't want to be biased, but I am also looking through, and there doesn't seem to be any battles apart from this one, obviously, for the lead of the race. Justin Meister looks like he's going to go for a move. Oh, he could possibly go for a move. Massey goes to try and cover off the inside, does he? And Justin's made the move. But Massey goes to the switchback. And he can't quite make it. He touches him round. Oh, he touches him, sorry. And Justin takes the lead of this race with basically 1 lap to go now. Massey possibly goes for a move. Maybe the switchback isn't on, but surely you'll find him as still possibly the favourite of this race. He goes wide there. That's not going to help his cause whatsoever. We're going to ride on the T-Cam. Of course, slightly glitched in this car, but maybe Max Whiteshaw makes a mistake into that famous corner that we've just come out of, or maybe something happens. But we'll look further back a second. Oh, and just Max has gone for the move, trying to make it a 1-2, and he's on 2 wheels for a second there. You say that it's probably safe for an 8-6 victory here, but what about a 1-2? Now Max possibly is going for the 1-2. This battle's costing Massey time, which he could use to fight Justin. But at the moment, it looks like it's just going to be a podium for him in this Grand Prix. Dimitri watches this battle, has a very nice view of it. And Max goes around, goes to the inside, and he's also made the move stick. Oh, it's gone for ban. Dimitri's... Has he touched Massey? Massey is like a sitting duck in the battle with the 8-6 cars. Not very easy at all. And Ryan Masmuda there, trundling around. we'll look further back to see if there's any battle. There is slightly with Jason Ho and... But, oh, goodness me. Oh, Jason Ho's round. Is he? No, he's not. But we'll look back, and Justin Meister is coming round the last few corners now. Unfortunately for me, it's not a reading game victory, but it is quite possibly... It's an 8-6-1-2 in their home Grand Prix. They will be very happy with that. So it's Justin Meister, Max Weichel, Massimiliano Ribbioli, Jacob Karowski, Dimitri Giannap, I don't know his last name, Amma Hammond, Aegis Batars, Will Metcalf, Jason Ho, Victor Marciniak, Alex Hallows, Peter Jones, Creox Baguette, Joris Bilkins, Joe Gillett, Ryan Masmuda, and DNFing from this Grand Prix, Max Krauser. Now we'll look, is there going to be any donuts from the 8-6 guys here in their home Grand Prix? They'll be very happy. They'll be very, very happy with that result. And we're going to go on to interviews now. So if you do want an interview, please go and wait in the stream interviews waiting room channel. And we'll get you in for an interview. So we'll see if that can do anything. But meanwhile, we'll go into the stream. We'll start shortly and we'll go for interviews. It's that time again. Wow, what a race we have just seen. And it was almost a victory for Reading Game, but unfortunately it wasn't. But you'll have to 8-6, we'll get a 1-2 no matter what happens. So we'll go for interviews now. We'll join the Discord channel of stream interviews and wait for people to join us. So I'm just going to double check that my push to talk works, as it does quite well actually. So we'll wait here quickly. Massey does not want to shoot, just to say that's fine. And we'll give it a minute and wait. And Alex Hallows immediately, so we'll put Alex Hallows into the Discord channel. Hello, Alex. Obviously announcing just today that Invictus will be returning for another season in Season 5. And you said that there was a partnership that you haven't announced yet. Are you able to shed any light on that?
To have Invictus back for another season is that, well, I was driving today, of course, and it just went absolutely brilliant, and it just gave me the thrills that, you know, from the past 3 seasons that I drove in. Season 1 with Matt, Season 2, or half a season in Season 2 with myself, and Season 3, I think it was like halfway with Ryan, and then with Matt again, and now here we are in Season 4 with Calvin and Joe as our main drivers. But unfortunately, with Calvin unfortunately absent today, I had to take the wheel, and here I am. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Just realised I muted my mic for most of that. I muted him for most of that. So we've got Maxime Krauset next, and then we will have the race winners of Max Weichel and Justin Meister. So we've got Max Krauset with us. So Max, bitterly disappointing, both races there.
Can you repeat the question?
Sorry. So race 1 didn't go too badly. P13, but you had a slight bit of disappointment, and then obviously race 2 you looked comfortable in the lead in the early stage of the race, and it just didn't go to plan. So let's have your take on it.
Well, race one was a bit disappointing. Well, it was not too bad, but I think I could have done better. And for race two, for race two, I was fighting for the lead, and I got really surprised because the people that you are usually at the front are really aggressive, and while trying to keep with them, I went too aggressive in the first corner, and I flipped, and the motion of my car set me over the wall, so I could not continue the race because I was out of bounds. So yeah, it was really funny, but disappointing at the same time.
Also a bit disappointing we didn't get it on stream. But returning to Reading Game for the Monaco Grand Prix, I have heard from the group chat. What are your what's your kind of plan for Monaco? Because it is a beast of another kind.
But for Monaco, since it's really a street circuit, I think I might do better than on the other tracks. I'm not sure yet. We will have to see.
All right, brilliant, Max. Thank you for the interview. Best of luck for the rest of the season, and we will see you in Monaco.
All right.
Alright, so we are joined now by the sprint race winners. 1-2 in their home Grand Prix. Justin, Max, tell us how you feel.
Yeah, race 1 was pretty good. I had a spin, but I guess it didn't affect me that much because Jakob was really, really fast. Yeah, I'm really happy with P2 in race 1, and race 2 also was pretty lucky. We gained a lot of positions, especially that one lap in the hairpin where I overtook like 4 or 5 guys at once and pulled Max with me behind. Yeah, pretty happy, and yeah.
Yeah, same basically. Especially I had like pretty, let's say, low expectations, if you can call it like that, because I'm basically just arrived home from like a trip the whole day. Woke up like 5 a.m. and so I knew my driving wouldn't be as much as on point as I would maybe like. But still, I think P4 in the first race from P6 was pretty good, and could have been the win in the second race, but sadly I went right in the one right-hander. But still pretty happy.
Right, brilliant, well done, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Hi.
Okay, so we are joined now by Peter Jones, one of the newer people to the league this season, obviously racing towards the business end of last season, but has really made his mark this season. So your qualifying pace, Peter, is pretty much something else compared to a lot of the rest of the field. What do you think it is in qualifying that just like means you can get constant P3 and P2s?
I'm not actually too sure. I think I tend to work well under pressure, so I think that's part of the reason. And I'm not too consistent in the races, so I don't exactly do anything with the pace I have. So not really sure why it's only quali though, and not the sprint races. But there we go.
So is this being your first full season to Vals? How is it treating you? How do you sort of find the racing compared to other leagues? I know you do a lot in GPVWC, and obviously it isn't really comparable to GPVWC. But how are you sort of finding it?
It's kind of difficult to compare to GPV, as you said. Obviously, two completely different simulators, even. I think the racing's a lot cleaner here, especially in the feature race at the beginning. The racing's very clean, it's very tight. I think you may have caught a bit of my battle with Max Reichel towards the end of the feature race, which was really fun. So that's just a testimony to how clean the racing can be. And unfortunately, race two hasn't exactly treated me well this year. I mean, I've got taken out 3 out of 3 races on lap 1, so I've got to kind of work on that. But all in all, racing's a lot cleaner than I'd actually expect from a series like this, so it's very, very good.
Alright, brilliant. Thank you for your time.
No problem.
Okay, so for the final interview of the day, we are joined by Amma Hammond. Obviously, in the brand new Velocity car, and no, you're in the Copic, sorry, and second in the teams championship. How does that feel?
Feels really good, especially considering how the race went. Unfortunately, we could have had more points, especially for P1, but we didn't have pit strategy for the first race, which cost us a 1-2 really. But I'm happy we're currently second in the championship in the constructors. Jakob is having a very good driver's run as well, which is good for his hopes. I would try to assist him in trying to get a higher place in the standings. But hopefully we'll keep the second place and maybe challenge for the constructors title. But we'll see about that in the next few races.
Right, brilliant. Thank you for your time.
Cheers.
Okay, so that does do it for the Virtual Open Wheel Series Round 3 in Hockenheim. Join us next time for the motor racing track, the legendary Monaco Grand Prix circuit. Can 8-6 extend their championship lead even further and put basically one hand and two fingers on the trophy? Well, the virtual trophy. It's not an actual trophy. Or can Copic and Jakob close in on, or Jacob, sorry, I don't know what's going on, close in on the two championships? We will see next time. Join us next week for Monaco. Same time, same place, and hopefully next time we'll understand which button mutes our mic. Thanks for watching.